Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the Social.in podcast. I'm your host Pradeep, and on this episode of the Social Media Weekly, we're talking about Instagram product tags rolling out for all in the US, we're talking about Google search and bookings, and we're talking about Twitter shops rolling out for everyone. Let's get started. So for our first story, we're talking about Google search and reservations and bookings. Essentially, this is rolling out to healthcare providers in the US, only certain of them, who are using Google business profiles to take bookings through partners like CVS. Essentially, if you make a search for a healthcare provider, you'll be taken over to their Google business profile and then you can make a booking based on their availability. What's interesting here is that a couple of months back, Google actually rolled out a feature where you can search based on your insurance coverage for a healthcare provider. For our next story, we're talking about the Digital Markets Act coming for Apple. What's interesting to note right at the start here is that Apple is actually choosing to pay a fine in the Netherlands rather than change their payment processes for dating apps. That's pretty big of the company. Anyway, according to the Digital Markets Act, which has been mulling around in the EU for a while now and is likely to be passed into a law, Apple and other companies like Apple cannot prevent users from sideloading apps. They can also not prevent users from being able to delete apps like Safari. Now, Apple says this will compromise the security of their device, but they already allow sideloading of apps on their Mac platform. For our next story, we're talking about Google cutting a deal with Spotify. Now, Spotify and Google have been fighting for quite a while now. Spotify has been putting up websites basically saying that Google is unfair and that their payment processing cut is anti-competitive. Google essentially charges 15% of the payment for subscription-based apps, and now they've cut a deal with Spotify wherein Spotify will also allow users on Android to pay via Spotify or pay through Google. Now, obviously, the cut for Google when users pay through Spotify will be less, but it's still supposed to be something. For our next story, we're talking about Twitter shops finally rolling out to everyone. Now, Twitter shops has been in beta for quite a while now, but it's essentially a copy of the TikTok shops feature. Basically, what will happen is that the user can click on the view shops button and then they'll be taken over to the shop page on the profile page, which can have up to 50 products. And then when they tap on a product, they'll be taken over to the merchant website through an in-app browser. For our final story, we're talking about Instagram product tags rolling out to everyone in the US. Now, previously, this was only available for certain content creators and businesses. Essentially, you can now go over to tag people, tag the brand, and then tag the respective product, which will take you over to a trackable link or shopping directly on Instagram. What's interesting here is that Instagram is also rolling out affiliate links to help their struggling creators make more money.